Alright, so we have this nice little UV that's laid out, and the goal here is to transfer this information as an image into something that could be use this one and you can paint on it. Um, this is why if you create a render, so from the tools menu, go to the render UVW template. Just let me move it away. Render UVW template. This brings up this dialog, and by default, we are absolutely satisfied with this 1K texture. It is not a big one, but it's absolutely suitable for this specific project. Now I will hit render UV template, and this will bring up a new window. Sometimes these edges are not visible, but believe me, they are there. It is just depending on the screen resolution. Okay, now save it as a simple texture map. I will call it UV temp, and by calling it block UV temp, and as a JPEG, it will be absolutely fine with the best quality. Now switching to Photoshop, I will open up this temp, and I will open up the texture that I want to use. Now these two images will be presented here, and my goal is to combine this one by placing on this UV template and use these edges as guides to uh, create the texture. Now when you have something like this and you switching to the move tool and transfer your new texture with the transfer tool, uh, there might be a problem because you don't see the wires. Okay, so the wires are good to have if you want to specifically space uh, placement, use an accurate placement for something. Now to deal that, I usually like to use this simple trick in Photoshop. So I'm selecting the background, pressing Ctrl J, that will duplicate the selected layer, placing it on the top. Now it's covering everything. The trick is to go to the blending mode, and in the blending mode, switch it to difference. Uh, this is one easy way to make a help, a guide that covers everything. So now you can identify what area you want to use, but it is not really overlapping and actually distorting your colors. All right, I will just quickly create a new text layer and text, and switching to move tool, transformation again. It's so small, but it is there. And accepting it. Oh my, what kind of color is that? So switch again to the command T, switch it to a different one, and probably this color breed's not that chiller. Oh, it's a little bit better. Right, yep, reddish. Okay, and just to make sure that everything fits, I will just make it here. Right, so now the top part will receive the top part of the text with the TE and chopped pieces of the other, and everything will be placed according to the UV. Now 3dsmax can read PSD files, so if you are saving it as a PSD and open it up in 3ds Max, you can actually load it as your own texture. Now I'm closing this up. Everything is now done here. Opening up Material Editor again, creating a new texture, dragging and dropping it onto my box, and the same way as I've created this one, in the diffuse slot there is the channel color, and I'm calling this UV temp PSD, accepting that I need collapsed layers. I haven't turned off the wires. So this layer is visible because it is just an editor layer. So it's not really a massive thing, but as you see, the edges are visible here. But here we go. This is the final result, and the edges are matching, so the texture is actually flowing here nicely. The text is there, and if you are creating a render, that's F9, but you know, Shift Q will also do the job here, because F9 will turn off my recording. So this is actually the texture that we created now. All right, thank you for your attention, and we will go on forward with a bit more complicated situations. So thank you. See you next time.